The spinal cord functions conduction because it allows us to take information up and down the spinal cord. Neurointegration, there's a lot of neural coordination that happens at the level of our spinal cord. Locomotion, it involves a continuous movement and coordination of muscles to walk, and this coordination happens at the level of the spinal cord. Reflexes is also another very important function because reflex coordination happens at the level of the spinal cord. The surface anatomy of the spinal cord. The spinal cord is inside the vertebral column. As you can see here, this is your vertebral column. The vertebral column is composed of vertebrae, and inside the vertebrae you have the vertebral foramen, and inside the vertebral foramen you can see in there the spinal cord. Spinal cord starts at the base of the brain, comes out of the skull through the foramen magnum, and goes all the way down here to the lumbar area approximately where it's going to end. The bottom part of the spinal cord is called the medullary cone or conus medullaris, as you can see right here, and that's where it ends. What continues after that is a lot of nerves that will go down towards the sacrum. This set of nerves are going to be called the cauda equina. So how do we anchor this spinal cord so it doesn't move? Because if it moves, it will create a lot of pain and it may damage the spinal cord. So it hangs from the bottom of the brain through the spinal cord. And down here is going to have some sort of ligament called the terminal phylum. We know from the spinal cord, what you're going to have coming out of it are going to be nerves. Since these nerves are going to be located in your spinal cord, they're going to be called spinal nerves. We see now a cut of the spinal cord. You can see sensory nerve, motor nerve, sensory nerve, and motor nerve. You can see the fluid. This fluid not only protects the spinal cord but also the brain, therefore it's called the cerebrospinal fluid. Another thing that protects the spinal cord and the brain are going to be these three membranes that are called the meninges, dura mater, arachnoid mater, and pia mater. So right here we have the spinal cord only after we remove the vertebrae, so we can see what are the characteristics that we have. You're going to have two main areas, the white matter and then the gray matter. White matter, columns. Gray matter is going to have horns. So then what columns you're going to have? Anterior column, middle column, posterior column. Gray matter, same thing. Posterior horn, middle horn, anterior horn. The gray matter is connected by this area right here in the middle. That's called the gray commissure. In the middle of the gray commissure, we're going to have a hole. This hole is called the central canal. The central canal will allow the flow of the cerebrospinal fluid through your spinal cord. Posterior to the central canal, you're going to have the posterior median sulcus. And anterior to the central canal, you're going to have the anterior median fissure. Not only that, but we also have these nerves, sensory nerves and motor nerves. So this one is going to be sensory. This one is going to be motor. Same thing applies to this side. This is going to be sensory. This one is going to be motor. How do we know which one is sensory and which one is motor? You look right here at this enlargement. This is the posterior root ganglion. It says posterior because it's on the back. So this is going to be sensory, posterior. This is going to be anterior, therefore this is going to be motor. There are two characteristics that you need to understand about this. When the nerves are outside the spinal cord, they are going to form plexus. When the nerves are inside the spinal cord, they are going to form tracts. We have ascending tracts, which are going to be sensory because they send the information up to your brain. And we also have descending tracts. Those come down from your brain in order, for example, to move your muscles. You can see here some examples of where these tracts are located. And as you can see, they go up, ascending tracts. If it's ascending, it's sensory. Or you have these ones, descending tracts. There you have the names of these tracts. So if we keep scrolling down, we can see ascending tracts. So you have a nice figure in there. Right here it says receptors for pain. So this is in your skin. As you can, if you follow the arrow, you see it goes up. So this is going to be an ascending tract. Okay, so sensory are always ascending tracts. And you have right there descending tracts. It is descending because it goes down from your brain down into your skeletal muscles. One very important part that you need to understand is that descending tracts, the nerves that come down, they cross. As you can see here, you see they cross. Not all of them, but a big percentage of nerves cross. This crossing is called decussation. And in what part of your nervous system this happens? It happens at the level of the brainstem, specifically in the medulla oblongata. So this is called decussation of the pyramids because this part of the medulla oblongata is called the pyramids. And since they cross, that's why it's called decussation of the pyramid.